What's up, Nerdgenic Nation? Superhero nerd Aaron Waller here once again to talk about some very interesting Marvel news surrounding upcoming Phase 5 projects and the eventual introduction of mutants that have surfaced online lately that I'm not quite sure if I agree with. The latest headlines and rumors around the MCU related to the long-awaited arrival of mutants seem to be centering around one of Marvel's biggest flops, the Eternals, and upcoming projects including Thunderbolts and Captain America: New World Order. Also, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen Eternals, which I can't blame you if you haven't, but I'm also going to be talking about one of the few highlights of the film, so just be warned. According to various sources, rumor has it that the big news will be centered around the Celestial that was emerging from Earth at the end of the Eternals, that Cersei is eventually able to stop, leaving a giant Celestial emerging from the Indian Ocean. This is something that is yet to be referred to in any film or show since, thus leaving most of us just scratching our heads about it. But it's now the potential crux of the future of the MCU, as it's rumored to be a potential Geonosia, the island that is inhabited by mutants and led by Magneto in the comics, or it could be the source of adamantium, the famous nearly indestructible material synonymous with Wolverine. Now, in my opinion, I think this is somewhat smart, but also kind of a major cop-out. Fans have been theorizing the countless ways for mutants to be introduced into the MCU even before Marvel acquired Fox in 2019. And though they're finally bringing back a plot point that should have been addressed sooner in my opinion, it feels a bit cheap to call it Geonosia without ever really officially introducing mutants outside of the occasional name drop here or there. A lot of groundwork and likely a flashback or even having to insert a movie into the timeline that we've already passed would need to happen in order to make it up if that were the story that they went with, in my opinion. The adamantium angle, however, I wouldn't mind as much, as it makes sense to me that a Celestial is made up of a foreign material that could or would be harvested by nations, governments, and the like to potentially fight over or seek out. The biggest issue I would take with this, however, would be involving Wolverine himself, as the Eternals clearly plants itself in the modern day of roughly around 2023 or even 2024, as they discuss the blip happening in the film. This means that the Celestial's emergence takes place roughly in the modern era. Now, Wolverine could be similar to that of the X-Men franchise, where he still has his regular powers, just not the adamantium, but that means that he wouldn't get them for quite some time, assuming that he's a very old mutant, but his powers keep him fairly young. But they could also just have Wolverine be from the early 1800s to early 1900s, rather than the late 1700s to 1800s like they did with X-Men Origins Wolverine. What I'm trying to get at here is that it isn't impossible for either of these storylines to be adapted into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, though if it were up to me and I had to choose one, I would go with the adamantium story, which is supposedly linked with Captain America: The New World Order. In my opinion, it would do a lot less damage. Mutants could still have been around, and most in hiding for who knows how long, and it still gives a way for them to exist without harming the overall MCU. The Geonosia story, however, wouldn't make a lot of sense to me if they used that to introduce the mutants, but I could foresee it being a plot point that could be used later down the line once the mutants have been fractured and had to choose sides between Xavier and Magneto. But again, we're way far off from that, as neither have officially entered the MCU within this timeline. So those are my thoughts on these wild Marvel mutant news and rumors that have been swirling about, and now I want to hear from you in the Nerdgenic community. What do you think of either of these rumors? Do you think the Geonosia story is better, or the adamantium, or both? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future videos from me or the rest of the Nerdgenic team. And also be sure to give us a follow across all social media platforms at Nerdgenic. That way you don't miss out on any special news, announcements, or articles at nerdgenic.com. But in the meantime, if you want even more video content from us, check out one of my latest superhero videos right over here. Or for a change of pace, check out Russ's latest video right over here where he talks about Avatar: The Way of Water and gives us full review. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, we really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you in the next video.